All right, guys, so we're here on a service call, and what we have here is LG, and that's their error code, okay? Now, a couple things you want to first check, okay? You see the door, or the doors, I should say, okay? You can hear the fan back there, fan is running. Freezer door, they look good. The refrigerator door, a couple things also. You see that rust? Okay, that means she's either been leaking or the door hasn't been closed properly. When that happens, you end up with water, moisture. Eventually, the fan freezes over, stops. Now you also have a damaged area here. So all this adds up to the refrigerator not being able to close properly, okay? Impeding its sealing capability. So if the fridge cannot be sealed properly, it will not cool. So we gotta deal with the fan, see what's going on and why it's not closing properly. I'll keep you posted. Thank you. All right, guys, so we're continuing on this repair. Earlier we talked about intrusion, air coming in, door not sealing properly. You see a little bit of rust, also a rust. Okay, so whenever you see that, that means air and water are mixing. So air is going in and it's causing it to freeze up. Okay, you may have the error code where the fan, that's the ice fan on the left. That's your evaporator in the center. So you do have two fans in this unit. So when the unit is overwhelmed by too much air being sucked in from the outside, you will have that. Now you could have a clogged drain, that's a possibility. And eventually that water will turn into steam during a defrost and you can get a very similar effect. Eventually the fan will stop because of the overwhelm of ice, frost that's building up around the fan. So it's basically too much for the refrigerator to deal with. So we have to defrost, remove the panel, and see what's going on back there. But when you see telltale signs here, all right guys, so I want to show an additional feature or system or method. Now, that's the back wall. Once you have defrosted it pretty good, and you're trying to get it out, okay, you gotta remember it's frozen back there, and that's plastic and foam, so you wanna be gentle with it. If you notice it's not coming, then it's frozen in the back, and you wanna continue defrosting some more. Do not use a heat gun or a heater or a hair dryer. They're not recommended for these newer refrigerators. All that is plastic, and you can easily melt or warp the plastic. When you warp back there, you can allow more air. Just don't use it. I'm not gonna get into that, but use a steamer. It's recommended. Now, sometimes you may have to put an attachment to that to get behind that evaporator cover so that you can actually get behind it. Now, sometimes you'll need a pick, which will, if I can find it, I just had it, here it is. Now, the pick will fit over and behind, and you're able to pull, okay? Now, if you're pulling, and you notice it's not coming, you can still have some, okay? This one is out. So you wanna be careful, and you can see how frozen that thing was, okay? That's why it's crucial not to force. You have to defrost and slowly work that plastic cover off. Otherwise, you're gonna do some damage and won't be good. All right, so, all right, that's my tip. Continuation, guys. All right, so we're still working on this unit. Now, as you can see, that's your evaporator fan. You can see it's totally frozen, right? that's the error code you're getting. The computer is basically telling you that the fan is either bad or stuck. So first you want to open this up, but again, be very careful when you do, okay? Now, LG refrigerators are famous for evaporator leaks. So you want to be careful if you are having a cooling issue and you open your cover and there's no frost, no nothing. All you see is a lump, maybe usually smaller than that, but it could be a restriction or a leak. If there's no frosting, see, that's your evaporator coil, and they should be frosted over when everything is working properly. It's kind of hard to determine if you're not really knowing what to look for, but in layman's term, this is what does the cooling. So if that's not fully frosted over, then your fridge or in your freezer will not be cooling. This guy actually cools the top as well. So air is passed from here, pushed up into the refrigerator. Now, what you want to do is defrost all that and remove the ice. Also, that's your ice maker. So the one on your left is responsible for making ice. So if you're not making ice, check your ice fan, which sits here, and that's your evaporator. So they're both iced up, both need to be defrosted and put back together. Again, this unit usually right now I'm thinking has to do with excess moisture being pulled in, and that's eventually what caused that. But of course, we're checking the heater. Continuing, guys, so this is your ice fan, okay? Now, as you can see, there's ice, so make sure that you actually remove the screws and flip this thing over and defrost it properly. Same thing with this guy, okay? There's tons of ice still under these guys, so you can't just assume the front looks good and then you just move on. You'll be wasting your time. All that has to be defrosted. Once everything's done, clear the code, plug it in, and you should be good. And make sure the doors are sealing properly. Like I was saying, remove the fan, get in here, look at the ice. You want to get all that out. If you just defrost this thing, you're going to be still having the same issue. You have to get the ice out. This cover comes off, but it's rather a pain in the butt. So you can fish the ice out. It's not too bad. Just make sure you get it out. Don't use anything sharp. Just going to damage the cover. Big ice. And move it around. You can tip it to the side. Another piece just came down. So you want to make sure that you get all of it, all this whole cavity. If that's full of ice, you're not moving air. You have to move air to cool the unit. Tilt it again. There we go. Okay, look at that. Another huge piece. So, I think we're just about done. Let's see. Yep. Pretty clear back there now. So what you want to do, once you're done, get your steamer. Do a quick steam. Make sure everything is done. Otherwise, it's not a, it's a good sized project. So if you're gonna do it right. And once everything's done, put your fan back. Now your fan, your evaporator fan, you don't have to remove the fan blades. You just basically, it slides into that little notch right there. And that's all you need to do. Okay, slides back in. Little clips right there. So, and make sure your wires are taped to the fan. Put your screws back in and you're good to go. Your housing, you snap the bottom end, you push the top, and you're good. Make sure you don't knock those things off. You don't have to remove anything. There's plenty of room to actually do it. We still have to defrost that guy. And once we're done with that, we're all set. Thanks for watching. Make sure you unplug the unit when you're working on it. Alright guys, so once we're all done, okay, all the defrosting is done, you want to do one final defrost, and you want to get your steamer, and you want to get it in here, okay, and look at the steam, okay. And make sure you get all that. That is your ice maker. Okay, so you want to get some, blow that out as well. Do that. Alright guys, job is done. Unit is put back together. Make sure your drawers are nice and even. When you close, it should pull itself in. Check your seal. Make sure everything, there are no gaps. Same thing with the bottom one. Nice and strong. Check your size. Drying the water up on the floor so you don't have a fall. And she's fixed. Thanks for watching.